Have you ever wondered if it's possible to transplant a human head? It's a question that teeters on the edge of science fiction and reality. This concept, known as head transplantation, may sound like a thing of fantasy. So, let's dive into the fascinating world of head transplantation. The idea of head transplantation has a rich history. As far back as ancient mythology, we find tales of creatures with interchangeable heads. But it wasn't until the 20th century that this concept began to enter the realm of scientific consideration. Early pioneers like Alexis Carrel, a Nobel laureate, and Charles Guthrie started experimenting with the transplantation of organs, laying the groundwork for what would later become the field of transplant surgery. The concept of whole head transplantation, however, took a leap forward with the work of Russian scientist Vladimir Demikhov, who carried out a series of audacious experiments involving the transplantation of heads in dogs during the 1950s. These early experiments, controversial as they were, paved the way for further research. And by the mid-20th century, the idea of head transplantation had moved from the pages of science fiction into the realm of scientific possibility. The concept of head transplantation, once a fantasy, became a subject of scientific exploration. The first experiments in head transplantation were conducted on animals. Early scientists, undeterred by the complexity of the procedure, forged ahead with their sights set on monkeys and rats, the chosen subjects for these pioneering tests. In the mid-20th century, a handful of daring researchers began their trials. The first significant experiment was conducted on a rhesus monkey. The procedure, while successful in the physical sense, resulted in a creature that was paralyzed and only survived for a few days. The monkey's head could function, it could see, hear, taste, and even showed signs of attempting to bite. But the monkey's body was unresponsive due to the inability to reconnect the spinal cord. Meanwhile, the rat experiments presented a different set of challenges. Smaller, more intricate, and with a quicker metabolism, the rat proved to be a complex subject for head transplantation. These experiments saw varying degrees of success, with some rats surviving for several days, while others experienced immediate complications. Despite these initial setbacks, the experiments on monkeys and rats were far from fruitless. They provided invaluable insights into the complexities of the procedure, the challenges of reconnection, and the need for advanced immunosuppression to prevent the body from rejecting the new head. Moreover, they highlighted the stark difference between simply attaching a head to a body and achieving full functionality. The experiments also underscored the significance of the spinal cord, a critical, yet incredibly complex component to reconnect. It became clear that without a viable method to rejoin the spinal cord, the dream of head transplantation would remain just that, a dream. In the face of these initial failures, scientists did not back down. Instead, they dug their heels in, spurred on by the tantalizing promise of medical revolution. The lessons learned from these early experiments became the stepping stones for future research, guiding scientists towards more sophisticated techniques and approaches. These initial experiments paved the way for further research, but also raised numerous ethical and technical issues. Yet the allure of the unknown, the potential to redefine the boundaries of medical science, continues to drive this controversial field forward. Head transplantation is not just a technical challenge, but also a moral and legal minefield. As we delve into this topic, it's important to remember that the implications of such a procedure extend beyond the physical and into the realm of ethics and law. On the ethical front, the concept of head transplantation raises profound questions about identity. If a person's head is transplanted onto a different body, who is that person? Are they the same individual as before the procedure, or have they become a new person altogether? These questions challenge our understanding of selfhood and individuality, and they have no easy answers. Issues of consent also come into play. How can we ensure that both the donor and the recipient fully understand the implications of the procedure? And even if they do, is it ethical to proceed with such a radical operation? Some argue that it would be if the procedure could save or significantly improve a person's life. Others, however, contend that the risks and potential complications are too great. Moving on to the legal aspects, head transplantation raises a host of issues. For instance, if a person's head were transplanted onto a different body, would they legally be considered the same person? Would they have the same rights and responsibilities? Would their marriage, if they were married, still be legally valid? And what about inheritance law? Who would legally be entitled to their estate? Then there's the question of regulation. Who would oversee and regulate such procedures to ensure they're conducted safely and ethically? Would it fall to medical boards, governmental agencies, or some other entity? And how would these procedures be regulated across different countries and jurisdictions? Such are the ethical and legal quandaries that head transplantation presents. They're complex and multifaceted, and they force us to confront our deepest beliefs about identity, personhood, and the limits of medical science. The complexities of head transplantation extend far beyond the operating room. As we continue to explore this fascinating and controversial topic, it's clear that the journey is far from over. Despite the challenges, research into head transplantation has continued. Today we are witnessing a new era of medical innovation and technological advancements that have pushed the boundaries of what's possible. In the realm of head transplantation, scientists are tirelessly working to overcome the formidable technical hurdles that this procedure presents. One of the most significant challenges lies in the reconnection of the severed spinal cord. It's not just about stitching two ends together. It's about restoring the intricate network of nerves that facilitate communication between the brain and the rest of the body. Enter the world of nanotechnology. Recent advancements have brought forth the promise of using nanomaterials and nanorobots to aid in the reconnection process. These microscopic entities can potentially navigate through the spinal cord, repairing damaged nerves and restoring lost connections. While this technology is still in its infancy, it opens up a world of possibilities. Imagine a future where paralysis due to spinal injuries is a thing of the past. This is the kind of world that head transplantation research is helping to forge. Another noteworthy advancement is in the field of bioengineering. Scientists are exploring the possibility of growing custom organs in the lab, including spinal cords. This pioneering research could provide the perfect solution to the problem of organ rejection, a major concern in any transplantation procedure. In the sphere of neurobiology, research is delving into the mysteries of the brain and consciousness. Understanding how the brain works and how consciousness is maintained could play a crucial role in making head transplantation a reality. Simultaneously, computer scientists are developing sophisticated simulation models to predict the outcomes of such complex procedures. These models can help surgeons prepare for every possible scenario, increasing the chances of a successful operation. Despite these incredible advancements, it's important to remember that we are still in the exploratory stages of this research. While we have made significant strides, the reality of head transplantation remains elusive. So, what does the future hold for head transplantation? As we gaze into the crystal ball of medical science, head transplantation stands as one of the most fascinating yet contentious topics. The potential benefits of successful head transplantation are immense. Imagine the possibilities: a lifeline for patients with terminal illnesses, a solution for those suffering from severe bodily trauma, or even a path to immortality for those who dare to dream. However, the road to such a future is not without its potholes. The risks and complications associated with head transplantation are significant. Technically, the procedure is immensely complex, involving the precise reconnection of severed neural pathways. Even with the most advanced technology, the potential for failure is high. The body's immune response poses another major hurdle. Just as with any other organ transplant, the risk of rejection is ever present. And then, there's the elephant in the room: the continuity of consciousness. Would the patient wake up as the same person, or would they become someone entirely new? The psychological implications for patients are equally profound. How would one cope with waking up in a new body? Could they ever truly feel at home in a body that was once someone else's? The mental health considerations are as critical as the physical ones, and require just as much attention. Unsurprisingly, these issues have sparked divergent views within the medical community. Some see head transplantation as the next frontier in medicine, while others regard it with skepticism, if not outright dismissal. The ethical considerations further compound the debate. The question of informed consent, in particular, is a thorny one. How can patients fully understand and consent to a procedure so unprecedented and fraught with uncertainty? Despite these challenges, research in the field continues, fueled by a potent mix of curiosity, ambition, and the ever-present human desire to push boundaries. Whether head transplantation becomes a reality or remains a scientific curiosity, it is certainly a topic that will continue to intrigue and challenge us. Today, we've delved into the captivating topic of head transplantation. We journeyed from its intriguing origins, tracing the concept's evolution over decades of medical history. Our exploration touched on pioneering research projects and early animal experiments, leading us to face the ethical and legal conundrums this procedure presents. We then navigated the treacherous waters of the technical challenges, discussing the continuity of consciousness, identity, and the potential risks involved. Our exploration ventured into the divergent views and opinions, comparing head transplantation with conventional organ transplantation. Finally, we examined recent breakthroughs, potential benefits, and the financial aspects of this groundbreaking procedure. As we continue to push the boundaries of medical science, who knows what the future may hold.